Hello and welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing video of the new Magic the Gathering Duel Deck Mind vs Might. My name is Simon and I'll be doing the unboxing today, so bear with me while I brutally rip this open. But what we're going to do is open up this new Duel Deck. We're going to have a look at the cards you get inside and the other little bits that come with it. And yeah, we'll just have a good look at what you're getting. So this isn't a in-depth strategy guide or anything like that. This is just showing you the components. I'll go through the cards and show you those bits as well, but just so you have an idea of what is in the Mind vs Might Duel Deck. So let's get all the paraphernalia out from underneath. So as you can see from the title, we get two decks here with Mind and Might, which are here. So you get two 60 card pre-made decks. You get spin down life counters. You get these deck boxes, which are slightly different from the normal ones you used to get in things like the Fat Pack boxes. They're side loading ones. So let's just do that. So rather than top loading, they're side loading. You can see the little colour symbols, which is kind of neat. It's good for keeping the deck, and I haven't tried it with the sleeved deck, and it looks like it's not thick enough to hold it when sleeved, which is always a shame. They always should make them have enough room for when they're sleeved, because you should always sleeve your cards. Pardon me, sorry. Yeah, and they have the title character on each of them, so kind of cool, kind of neat. Then we have a quick reference guide, so if you're brand new to the game of Magic, this is what you need to be playing with. You get this in a lot of the products nowadays, just as a nice handy reference to have out next to you as you're playing the game. It just has a quick rundown of the turn order. And we have the fold out, so this is the Duel Deck fold out, and this explains each of the decks. So here we have Joyra's, I'm going to pronounce it like that, but I'm probably wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments. Joyra the Gitu. Yeah, just fun to say. So we have a rundown of what her deck's like, tips for playing it, and a deck list. And a deck list is useful if you happen to take the deck apart. You know, you borrow the cards from the decks, or you want to change things up, see what it's like. You can return it back to normal by using this. And then when we flip over to the other side, we have the same again, but for Might, for Lavissa Cold Eyes. Again, just the tips and the deck list for her. Was quite nice as well. Notable printings, which in most cases tells you where the card was originally printed, which is quite cool, because these cards are coming from all over the world of Magic. So, the bit we're most excited for, let's have a look at the decks. So, packaging's pretty good, usual standard. Of course, cards are falling out as we get in. As always for Magic, the cards on top, the foil cards, the bosses for the decks are separate, but let's just take a look at these. So the spin downs have the Planeswalker symbol, nothing unique or special to the Mind vs Might, which is a shame. It's nice to have unique spin downs, like, you know, uniquely one's got like a little fist on one and a brain on the other or something, you know. So there's our two title characters, Lavissa and Joyra. So pretty cool cards, both reprints. I mean, Cold Eyes hasn't been printed since, I think, is it Cold Snap or something like that? Of course, it's got cold in the name, but it's really cool because it's a human, and each creature that's Barbarian, Warrior, or Berserker gets +2/+2 in haste. And Joyra's ability is to exile an online card from your hand, put 4 time counters on the exiled card. If it doesn't have Suspend, it gains Suspend. And you can already see just from the title characters just how different these two decks are going to end up being. So we're going to start with, let's start with Mind. It is called Mind vs Might after all. So we'll open this up if I can make it escape from its plastic prison. There we go. So, like I said, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time going through each card because we'll be here forever and I'm not an amazing player. So, what you're going to see is here is a lot of cards. So whenever you cast your second spell, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, prowess whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Can you see a theme rapidly emerging here? The deck is focused heavily around playing your instants and sorceries to control the game, using your mind rather than brawn. We also have the Suspend mechanic, which is an older mechanic from a time set with all to do with time. And effectively, you pay the cost, you suspend it with that many time counters, so in this instance 9, and then at the beginning of each upkeep you remove a suspend counter. If it has no suspend counters left on it, then you get to play it for free. It has haste. And most of them, or at least some of them, have other things like this one. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you get to remove a time counter from it if it's suspended. So you get to accelerate it coming into play, and usually it's cheaper, so 3 mana instead of 10 mana to play the Deep Sea Kraken. So that allows you to return arcane cards from the graveyard to hand, and then quicken. Next sorcery you cast this turn can be cast as though it had flash. You can make your sorceries faster. Things like Mind's Desire. You also get to draw a card, which is cool. So it allows you to play something like Mind's Desire in your opponent's turn, which is 6 mana, but you can shuffle your library and exile the top card of the library, and you can play that card without paying its mana costs. And it has Storm, and who doesn't like the Storm mechanic? Volcanic Vision, Firemind's Foresight, Beacon of Tomorrow, Young Pyromancer. So you can see here, it gives you a little bit of board presence here with Young Pyromancer. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery, you get a 1/1 red elemental token. So without some of these creatures hitting the board, you would be completely open to your opponent's attacks. So you need a little bit of something. Even if it's something like a Goblin Electromancer, whenever you cast an instant sorcery, it costs 1 less. You know, it's just stuff that is helping you out with playing these spells out. Of course, we have our basic lands in there. Then we have some cool Kamigawa cards. Reach Through Mist, which is just a simple 1 blue draw card, but it is an arcane type instant, which is an old mechanic, but a really cool one. Pierce Through Depths. We have a Snap, return target creature, a Desperate Ritual, which gets you mana. Grape Shot. So the classic combo here is what's called Storm. Mentioned it earlier. Storm is whenever you cast a spell, copy it for each spell cast before it this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. So effectively what you want to be doing is casting lots and lots of spells in one big glorious turn, and then you fire off a Grape Shot, which only deals 1 damage to target creature or player. But if you've just played 20 spells that turn, yeah, exactly. Rift Bolt, which is a suspended lightning bolt, which is quite cool. Sift Through Sands. Empty the Warrens, gets you some goblins on the field. A little bit of bounce there. Shivan Meteor. Then we have some dual colour lands, so we have the Swift Water Cliff. So enters tapped, but you gain a life, and it allows you to have red or blue mana. And then we have some tokens at the back. So you have goblins, elementals, a drake, and another goblin. So enough tokens to play at least 1 or 2 of the cards which generate tokens out, but you probably would run out of tokens quite quickly if you're playing through the whole deck. So there we go. That is the Mind deck. It's lots of control, little bit of burn in there off of the red side of things, but it's mostly about drawing, bouncing, suspending the big cards, and controlling the game up until the point where you're ready to either fire off a big Grape Shot or hit them with like a Deep Sea Kraken or something like that. So yeah, fun deck. Probably. I used to play a lot of control, but these days I'm more about this sort of aggro stuff because it's way more fun for me. So this deck is I should say, sorry, because you can tell from the character that this is a blue and red deck. This one is a green and red deck. So this one is much more, in my mind, simpler. There are just lots of good, efficient creatures as Radha. Zozu the Punisher, whenever a land enters the battlefield, deal 2 damage to that land's controller. It's going to hurt you, but a lot of your spells are much lower cost than the Mind deck. So you shouldn't need to play as many lands, and you can hopefully get a bit of damage in on them. So rule out Raiders, Kamal gets a print here. Call of the Head, make elephant tokens with Flashback. Flashback allows you to cast it from your graveyard for that cost, so effectively you can cast the card twice. Increasing Savagery. Coat of Arms is cool, old school card. Each creature gets +1/+1 for each other creature on the battlefield that shares at least 1 creature type with it. So basically it just buffs you up if you have lots of the same types of creatures. Beacon of Destruction, Skarsgård Pitskull, Burning Tree Emissary, Crewin Striker. You can see there's a bit of mana generation, but just lots of things that say game +1, or the Pitskull is Bloodthirst. If an opponent was dealt damage, it enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. It's just lots of, simple beat sticky stuff. Just making cool creatures that deal damage. So that one has reach. Oh, Boldware Intimidate is cool. So he's a giant warrior for 7 mana. He's a 5/5. Cowards can't block warriors, which is just so full of flavour. And you think, wait, hold on, there aren't any coward creatures, or at least not in their stat line. Pay a red, target creature becomes a coward until end of turn. You can even pay 3 to make someone a warrior until end of turn. You can inspire people that much. This is one of your big hitters of the deck, because what it allows you to do is swing through your opponent's defense, because you can make all of their creatures cowards. Lots of forests and mountains. We have a firebolt to deal a bit of damage, a bit of a direct damage, a guttural response, which just has a giant gorilla screaming with the sword. Counter target blue instant spell. It's a nice response because you don't usually really get counter spells in anything other than blue, so to have a counter spell in not only red but also green, because look at that hybrid mana. And it's a single one. Now it only hits a blue instant spell, so you can't stop a blue sorcery or a creature, but still it might be enough to stop their counter. It's a counter to their counter, so you can counter their counter. Yeah, I just like it because it's a big gorilla with a sword and plate mail shouting in the middle of a snowy forest. You know, nothing makes sense, and neither does the ability on the card for the colours. Rampant growth, that you get a bit of land out. Silver might to pump your creatures even more. Tiny bit of draw there with Harmonise. Beast attack to make tokens. Roar of the Worm, make more tokens. We have our red-green dual colour with the Rugged Highland, same as before, enters tapped and gains your life. And then we have some tokens, Beast, Elephants, Elf Warrior, and a Worm. So there we go. That is everything in the Mind deck. So, personal preference, I am a big fan of the Might deck. I think it's a bit better, I think it's a bit stronger. Like, personal opinion though, because it's more simplistic, it's just play creatures out and beat them. Whereas the Mind deck's a bit more tricky, there's a bit more suspending, drawing, trying to be efficient with what you're doing. It's more intricate and probably more rewarding to play. But I just like going, I get +1/+1 smack. So, there we go. That is everything in the Mind versus Might deck. Also, some of these cards haven't been reprinted for a while. A couple of them, anyway, haven't been reprinted for a while. So it's really nice to be able to have access to them. That Guttural Response, for example, and these legendaries. So it's nice to have access to these cards again. So, there we go. That is everything in the Mind versus Might. So remember, all the cards you've seen here today can be bought and sold individually on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. So go and check that out. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out our other Magic the Gathering unboxing videos if you're curious about those. Otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.